Welcome into Sportstime. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. Darian Newsom with us as well, as we've got plenty of things to talk about today. A busy weekend here locally and nationally. So I'll be honest, I was thinking about this earlier. Maybe one of the most busy shows on a June 24th that I can remember. I mean, very busy today for us. A lot of guests today with everything going on, so we have plenty of things to talk about. But like I said, we're with you for the next 3 hours and trying to get in as much as we can. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Brian, I'm well, and I'm with you. It is as busy a Monday almost any time of the year, but especially for all the lazy people out there during the slow time.
Right.
What are we going to talk about?
Yes.
Use your head.
Use your head.
There's plenty going on, and we got it all covered. I mean, just hit the bingo card of the things going on. And Friday, when we closed, I said on Monday we could be celebrating a Tennessee national championship. Well, we're not.
That's right.
And I think they're rather on the fortunate side. They're still alive. I told you. I said, Brian, on Monday, if Tennessee wins it all, with all our Tennessee fans in our listening area, we're going to have to start the show with Rocky Top.
Yes.
If they win it tonight, we're going to do that tomorrow to celebrate with all the Tennessee fans in this listening area.
Of course.
We're not playing the A&M war hymnal.
Not enough A&M fans in the
it's
area
weird.
to play that.
It's the only SEC place that I don't know anyone that went to A&M. And I know somebody well from the other now 15 SEC schools. Well, a week from today it'll be official. 15. I don't know anybody even loosely from A&M. I don't. Never have.
I'm trying to think. I definitely don't know anybody here.
I don't know that I've ever seen gear on around town.
Yeah, I would probably agree with you until they were here for the tournament last year, and then you saw a lot.
Oh, that's true.
There.
Yeah. For that,
and not just walking around.
And they came here for the Liberty Bowl.
Sure.
Pretty early after Johnny, but early in their SEC years.
Yeah, I have two somewhat distant cousins that both went to Texas A&M, but no, I don't really know anybody personally that.
But Brian,
goes to Texas
I swear, I promise you, we could still do it. This is almost the day to start with the Tiger fight song.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
What a weekend for Tiger football. Were you watching the announcement live?
I was, yes.
Good for you.
I was watching it, and longer than I expected it to be, but it was a good commitment. Had Quavo on there with him. Brett, tell me everything you know about Quavo.
Nothing.
Okay.
I once drank tequila. It was Jose Cuervo.
Well, a little different.
Much different, yeah.
Yeah, much
Okay.
different. Quavo, part of the
He was not a friend of mine.
Well,
Jose Cuervo.
Jose Cuervo, not a friend of many, I don't think. No, but yeah, Quavo, very popular, right? It was actually funny because
It was really weird with tequila. Every time I drank tequila, it'd make my clothes fall off.
Well, that's
it was
what
really
they
weird.
say. Yeah, that's what they say. But no, it was funny. So he gets on live, and he had said, 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock
Quavo
Central.
was the hype guy.
He's a very popular rapper, and he has a 7-on-7 team.
You know how great that is for recruiting?
Oh, it's awesome. And
they don't give a darn if Brett doesn't know who Quavo is.
Right.
Who matters knows him. That's great.
And so he's from Atlanta and has a 7-on-7 team that Antoine Hill Jr. plays for, and they have a very good relationship. I know after he visited here and posted his official visit pictures, Quavo posted them on his story and tagged Moneybag Yo and was like, yeah, we're gonna get him to Memphis or whatever. And so Antoine Hill goes on his live. There's like 400 to 500 people watching. It's a couple minutes before 2 o'clock. Well, then he adds Quavo, and immediately 5,000 people on the live because all of Quavo's followers got a notification saying Quavo just went live, and so everyone hopped on there. So then Antoine Hill did his thing, had a couple people speak. His head coach spoke. His pastor spoke. And then he made his decision, and it was the University of Memphis. I know a lot of people.
It's blockbuster.
Oh, it absolutely is. A lot of people were worried because I guess they did it at his house, is what it looked like, or relative's house maybe. And you could see in the kitchen in the background blue and orange balloons. And
so he did the house dance,
right? And so I'm guessing he had both Florida balloons and then Memphis balloons maybe on the other side of the kitchen. So there were a lot of people in the comments saying, oh, he messed up his camera shot. You're not supposed to see the balloons in the background. They're Florida colors. He's going to Florida. And so then he committed to Memphis. So you're right, a massive he's the highest rated quarterback commitment in the modern recruiting rankings era. So it's definitely a big day. His teammate, who was also on a visit with him, announced last night, I believe, that he's now going to announce his commitment on July 4th, I believe.
And he can be the best recruiter for Ryan Silverfield.
Exactly. I mean, that's huge. When you have a guy
good knows great knows great.
Exactly. And so, when you have a guy at that caliber, and then you add that his teammate is also a great player, and they're obviously very close. It was definitely big, but to get a guy like that, and he talked about it after he committed, that one of the big reasons he decided Memphis is because of that opportunity to get on the field immediately. I mean, he will come in day one and will be in the competition for the starting spot, and that wasn't.
He'll be here enrolled in January, won't
he? He definitely will be, and so it's definitely huge.
I think I'm right on this. I know. All right, National Signing Day is like the Wednesday before that first playoff weekend, when we suspect the Tigers, if they're the 12th seed, they can be better than that, though.
Sure.
They can be better than the 12th seed.
Sure.
They can be better than the 12th seed without being the 4.
Right.
I mean, we know they'd be in if they're the representative of non-Power 5.
Sure.
But that Wednesday, December 18th, is National Signing Day. That's when it becomes legit. That's when it really gets real. I think he could come in and participate in practice in bowl season.
Yeah, no, I believe that's right.
Can they play? No, that was very far-fetched, especially at that position.
Sure. I don't know what the rules say or don't say about that.
I don't either. I should have known that before I asked. But I know they can go through practice and they can go to the bowl site.
Oh, absolutely. And so, I'm not sure exactly, if he would be able to or not.
Remember, last year Will Rogers was on the sideline at Washington.
That's right, yes.
Playoff games.
You're
Washington Husky
right.
Dogs.
So, no, they definitely can. But that's going to be the interesting thing. And, obviously, I think he definitely, especially, like I just mentioned, he is coming here expecting to be in that competition for game one, so you would think he would want to be here as early as possible, getting as much reps and practice as he can, learning that system. And so no, it's going to be it was a great day on Saturday, and seeing kind of all of the national attention that got. Beating out Florida for a 4-star quarterback is not a small deal. That was a big deal Saturday afternoon.
I've had people already ask me, well, where do you think it ranks? I think it ranks number one all time. If for no other reason, it's a quarterback, and we know now you almost have no chance with just a pedestrian quarterback, just the tailback tight end quarterback. You got to have Rainmaker. You got to have Superman.
Sure.
And by all recommendation, he is and will be. D'Angelo Williams was really, really big. Mm-hmm. It came down to Iowa and Arkansas, and to beat out Arkansas for in-state player. But the proximity to Memphis really helped, and the early relationship established by Randy Fichtner and Tommy West really helped. And way back in the late 80s, Xavier Crawford, X-Man from Tresvant High, he signed with the Tigers. And Bryant, that was the first hat dance. I'm not saying it was the first one ever.
Right.
It was the first one I ever saw, and all three locals TV stations went to his announcement, and he timed it almost when they were coming on the air for the 5 o'clock news.
Yeah.
And he was very extravagant. And the announcement party was at Big John Grizzani's famous Italian restaurant on Airways.
Yeah.
No longer exists, like everything else in town. Walgreens is on every corner now. Yeah. But that's where Big John's was, and on Airways, and it was live from there. And he had narrowed it down to the Oklahoma Sooners that was getting any running back they wanted at that time.
Holy cow, yeah.
But I think this is bigger because of the position.
Sure.
And I was on Chuck Oliver's college football show today in Atlanta, and he didn't ask it at all ugly, but he asked why. And I said, here's why I think it's why he decided on Memphis. The continuity at coach and the continuity in quarterbacks, 4 quarterbacks over 3 coaches. He knows he can come here and be Magic Man.
Yeah, well, and that's the most incredible thing, because I think, we've played this game before where it's, okay, you've got Paxton Lynch, and Paxton Lynch was unbelievable, and his career was great. And then you've got Riley Ferguson, and, you knew he was at Tennessee, but, had been away from the game for a couple years, JUCO, all that sort of thing. You didn't really know what to expect. They were both fantastic, and you said, okay, you get back-to-back quarterbacks. No way you can do it 3 times. Brady White comes in, is great as well. You go, okay, 3 times.
Breaks every record.
It's not going to happen again. And you've got Seth Hennigan, who's going to break every record. And then now you get a recruit of this caliber, and it just feels like that line is going to continue to go, which is just remarkable. And
maybe Alabama, the only one that's gone 5 straight.
I would think so, and I think the biggest part of it, Brett, like you said, is the fact that this hasn't come over just one coach that has come in as the quarterback whiz kid or something like that can create these quarterbacks. It's been 3 different coaches.
Double-digit years we're into quarterback consistency.
Yes, and
where a lot of people every year going out, trying to find something on in the portal world.
That's right. And so it's been remarkable to see that position and the guys that they've been able to get in here. And so I think Antoine Hill is going to be able to step right in and continue that stretch. But it's going to be fun. I know him committing in the summer, and a lot of people will be keeping an eye on his team in the fall and what he's doing in high school, and then waiting for signing day, and when you put the pen on the paper, and then it will be officially official, and I'm sure very quickly after that he'll be on campus trying to get as much work in and figuring out what's next to being a Tiger.
It's very exciting news in this season, the anticipation building for it every day. I mean, everybody wanting to talk about the Memphis Tigers in this year's playoff, and that ties in with him, and, of course, FedEx. And Chuck Oliver really did. He knew the history, and he knows the history of college football. He knew about Xavier Crawford. He mentioned D'Angelo, and he mentioned the stadium.
Yep.
He said his first game here was 76 Liberty Bowl. That was Alabama, UCLA. I thought with his Auburn ties, he may have come here as a youngster for a Auburn Tigers game in the season, regular season, of 76. But he knew that history, and for people wanting to reach out and talk Tiger football, and Brian, there's a couple scenarios around the Tigers. The best one is 13-0.
Sure.
The best one for the Memphis Tigers is beat FSU in the non-conference game, win all the AAC games, win the AAC championship game at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, be 13-0. They will be a better seed than 12 if they're that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
They will be there's the potential. I'm not guaranteeing it. I'm just saying the potential is there. They could be as high as 3.
Yeah.
They could be as high as 3 with a scratched up Big Ten and and if you beat FSU and FSU's lost another ACC game, well, you got to be ahead of them, don't you?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Fair is fair, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Now, I know fair is not always the practicality in the big-time world of college football, but it'd be a lot of eyes on it. Anyway, so 13-0 is the easy one. Everything, the common denominator is you got to win the AAC championship game.
Sure.
12-1 in winning that, you're probably the 12. There's even a scenario at 11-2 with one of the losses to FSU and one in conference that you're still in as the non-Power 5, but it would be the 12.
Sure.
All of it centers around you're going to have to win the AAC championship game because, Brian, it would be too cruel. At 12-1 and lose the AAC championship game.
Yeah.
That's Military Bowl at Annapolis.
No, you're absolutely right.
You go from millions of dollars in TV watchers to the Military Bowl on campus at Annapolis.
Yeah, well, and that every single game is so important this year, and not only with Memphis.
That championship game is going to be everything in the AAC.
It's huge, and like you've been saying, Brett, it's also going to be the scoreboard watching everywhere else. You're going to be wondering every single week what Liberty's doing, what Boise State is doing, what another team, Fresno State, what they're doing.
It would be the most pressure-packed game. Mm-hmm. You can talk big games and
sure.
Beating Peyton, and a big game was when Brady White and the Tigers won the AAC championship game.
Of course,
a few years ago. You can talk Ole Miss games. You can talk all those games. The most pressure-packed game would be Memphis hosting an AAC championship.
Well, I mean, Brett, just think back to the conference championship game to go to the Cotton Bowl. I mean, the pressure in that game, everyone
got
knew.
Dicey.
Yes, and everyone knew going into that, you win this game, you're going to the Cotton Bowl.
That was some of the booze that day.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Because people could feel. Mm-hmm. We're this close.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know that needs to be knocked maybe
sure.
as much as it has been.
Sure.
Because people, we're right here on the verge. Don't blow this.
Yeah, but you think about the pressure that was there for the Cotton Bowl, and now imagine a conference championship, hopefully here on campus, or not on campus, but in Memphis at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, with the chance to go to the first ever 12-team college football playoff. That just jumps completely to the pressure
exciting
of that.
Times.
It definitely is. So we're definitely going to be talking a lot about that today. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Jonah Dillon, our friend from the Commercial Appeal, the Tiger football beat reporter. It's been a while since we've caught up with Jonah, but obviously with the announcement on Saturday of Antoine Hill's commitment, we've got to check in with Jonah, talk about that commitment, talk about what that means for Tiger football going forward, and just this excitement building around this upcoming season in the first year of the 12-team playoffs. 3:45, we'll talk some more about the draft. We're only a couple days away. It's getting closer and closer. You're seeing all the advertisements for it on ESPN. Wednesday night is the big night, but we know what it means when it's draft week. That means more and more rumors. What's going to happen on draft day? Grizzlies right there in the mix when it comes to trading up, trading down, staying. Who are they going to take? It's rumors everywhere. So we'll talk a little bit about the draft and what's going on with that. 4 o'clock, David Cobb from CBS Sports. He'll join us, talk some college football and college basketball. Plenty to get to with David at 4 o'clock, especially with the draft coming up later this week, and give us some more insight on some of those guys that the Grizzlies might be looking at if they stay at that 9 spot. 4:30, Clayton Collier from WOWT in Omaha, but was here in Memphis, but now up in Omaha for the College World Series. We had him on last week to talk about all the action up there. Going to have him join us again because Game 3 tonight between Tennessee and Texas A&M. It's a big one at 6 o'clock on ESPN. So we'll talk a lot of College World Series at 4:30 with Clayton. 4:45, big number of the day. 5 o'clock, our last Monday visit for a while with DeMichael Cole as we continue to talk about the NBA draft, what the Grizzlies can do, also some other NBA offseason news and nuggets that have been coming out. We'll talk to DeMichael at 5 o'clock. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending, and at 5:45, wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Summer is here, and it's time to party. 24-foot above-ground pools for $19.99. All ladders, filter systems, and robotic cleaners, 20% off. Select in-stock patio furniture up to 50% off. Play gyms up to $1,000 off, and patio umbrellas, 20% off. 4-person hot tubs, only $29.99.99. And don't forget about the discounting pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while supplies last. So make sure you head over to Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
Produced by Darian Newsom. We're Sportstime. We're with you until 6 o'clock. He's Bryant. I'm Brett, and we want you to be a part of it at 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. And all our guests will appear on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in town. They are at 2600 Ridgeway, and they are online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2024 models and always special leasing options. Drive-in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673. But they want you to stop by at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500. You'll be looking, you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it's got to be the commitment from Antoine Hill Jr. Saturday afternoon. I said it on Friday. I said it Friday afternoon when we talked about it. I said it Friday morning with Dave that if I had to put my money on which way Antoine Hill would go, if I had to look into my crystal ball and make a prediction, it would be Memphis. But I'll be honest, Brett, Saturday afternoon when I turned on that live stream and I just had to start waiting for his decision, I started going, oh man,
Don't do this to me.
This is scary, and I didn't know which way he was going to go. I was actually, funny enough, so I was at my girlfriend's house. We were out
I was
swimming.
watching your Twitter. I knew you let me know.
Absolutely. And so we're out swimming, and I had taken a break. I was like, hey, this kid's about to commit. He's either going to Memphis or Florida. You know, it's really big.
It's my job. I got to do this.
I've got to look at it. She could care less about recruiting. She doesn't know the first thing about recruiting. And so she's sitting there reading her book, and I jump up and go, yeah, let's go. I knew it. Let's go.
Belly buster. And, bonsai.
And she was like, what is your